Pope Francis is wrapping up his historic visit to Cuba, where he'll head to Washington, D.C. tomorrow afternoon. Here's a look at the trip that he's taking. He went from Rome to Havana to Santiago to Cuba, and now he'll head to D.C. and then New York City and, of course, Philadelphia. Imagine having to be the chef in the Catholic kitchen, cranking out all those meals for the pontiff. News 8's Josh Scheinblum met a local man who was once tasked to do just that.
It may go without saying, but a good chef has a passion for food.
Okay, now we need a salmon.
Spend a day with Chef Joseph Agner, and you'll see his love for all things edible borders on fanaticism.
There's some things I have to check out. That's where I like to go shopping on my own. You have different tomatoes today?
He starts his mornings at Restaurant Depot in Hartford, where he personally selects only the best produce and meats for his eateries.
Gotta change a little bit around. You don't like that too much, but I always do it.
Quickly moving down each aisle, grazing through the shelves like a pirate in search of buried treasure. On this day, he's brought his wife Eloise along with him, his best friend and guide through life.
Capers should be around here, right?
Yeah.
She's also the reason why this man from Austria has found himself a home in the heart of Middletown.
My dad said, why you can find another girl in Austria? And I said, I know, there's not any Eloise. I have a feeling I have to go.
His flagship restaurant is Brew Baker's, a local joint with an international flair.
The
food that comes out of his kitchen is often referred to by those who consume it as heavenly.
I love sandwiches, I love wraps, and yeah, it was just delicious.
But few know just how close the hands that made it have been to a man some regard as God's ambassador on earth.
So I cooked, the first day was dinner, and the second day was lunch, and the third day was also dinner. Nice and hot.
In his native Austria, Chef Joseph was a fine dining cook with a reputation well known among those in high-profile positions, particularly among leaders in the Catholic Church.
They know good food, yeah.
In the 80s, the Archbishop of Salzburg was a big fan of his creations.
He always called me for catering.
And when Pope John Paul II made a visit to the European nation, he was immediately tapped for the task of making the Holy Father's meals.
And we had a wine tasting before, it was also fun.
He'd cook again for church leaders, among the most notable Archbishop Joseph Ratzinger, who would later become Pope Benedict XVI. A Catholic himself, Agner says the opportunities were nothing short of spiritual.
But we have a lot of great chefs in Austria, and I feel really special for that.
Chef Joseph's talents are known far beyond the walls of the Vatican. Over the years, he's also cooked for the Dalai Lama, the President and Prime Minister of Austria, as well as the King of Bahrain.
It may surprise you to learn, but Joseph hasn't always had a career put on a pedestal. When he first moved to Connecticut 15 years ago, he didn't speak the language well and had to take a job as an assistant at a nearby pizza shop.
It was not easy for me to change career.
Fast forward to 2015, he's the owner of not one, but 2 restaurants on Main Street, commanding his staff like he did when he served the Pope.
Yeah, right here again. It looks good.
Joseph doesn't think of himself as religious in the traditional sense, finding his soul is just as nourished in a church pew as it is when he's chopping meat behind a counter. On his mind these days, a papal visit to his adopted country.
I think everything happens for a reason.
A symbol for him that shows life has a funny way of coming full circle, a time to reflect and appreciate one's blessings.
I think I would do it all over again. I have to choose.
In Middletown, Josh Scheinblum, News 8.
The Pope is scheduled to arrive in Washington at 4 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday morning, 15,000 are expected at a White House welcome ceremony. He will address a joint session of Congress on Thursday morning. Then it is off to New York. Thursday night, the Pope will pray at St. Mary's Cathedral. Friday's a busy day for the pontiff. He will address the United Nations in the morning, attend a service at the 9/11 Museum in the afternoon, and celebrate Mass at Madison Square Garden on Friday night. On Saturday, the pontiff leaves New York City for Philadelphia. He will also celebrate Mass both days next weekend and then depart for Rome on Sunday night.